Today I want to share two very affordable, two very well-made bags that I bought since this last video because let's face it, I got desperate. By the way, I'm not ditching high-end designer brands. I do have several super exciting reveals that I'll be spacing out for the rest of the year, but a girl's got to know when to be real and when to gracefully accept defeat. As someone who has strict moral principles about not paying above retail on the pre-loved market, the Kelly Elan, it's not happening for me anytime soon. So I shared on my community post a Kelly Elan on Fashion File for about $13,000. And my honest to God first thought was, that ain't a bad deal. Yes, girl, it is a bad deal. The Kelly Elan retails for under $10K last I checked. So we're talking about an over 30% markup on something that was just in very good condition. But when Kelly Elans on average go for $17K and up on the pre-loved market, $13K, it felt like a good deal. I got it bad for the Kelly Elan, like almost dropped $13K bad. But after that bag on Fashion File got away, thankfully, I think it sold in under a day, I decided to expand my horizons to see what else is out there that can even attempt to scratch that itch. Now, just to clarify, I bought these bags with my own money. They were not sponsored or gifted. The companies have no idea who I am, and thus I have no codes to share with you. I just wanted to share some of the shenanigans I've been up to, so let's get into the video. Welcome back to A Briefcase of Luxury, where we love to chat about all things related to life, learning, and luxury. While I have no intentions of quitting my day job as a business professor, I would love to grow this channel, so thank you to those of you who have subscribed, liked, commented, or shared my videos in the past, and thank you so much for watching this video today. In full transparency, I did unbox these a couple of days ago just to make sure they're good to keep, and I've just been so busy with nothing but work, plus I've been under the weather. I just really haven't had a chance to take them out for a test drive. Like, I typically don't like to talk about bags until I've actually gotten a good feel for them, which is why I don't do a ton of true unboxings, but I figured I'd better jump on this video now since these are trend sensitive. So I hope this is helpful if you are on the hunt for an affordable, fall-worthy alternative to the Kelly Elan or just the general east-west / shoulder bag trend. So on one hand, forget their Kelly Elan dupeness for a second, and let's do a proper first impressions of the bags themselves, like their price, quality, leather, what fits, mod shots, etc. But on the other hand, I do want to share the emotional journey of what led me to settle for these, knowing what they were meant to represent or replace. My gosh, most people would think I sound insane, but I know you guys get it. So I am so grateful there's a community of crazy handbag lovers out there like myself. Now, the first bag that I bought is from a really small Etsy store located in Düsseldorf, Germany, called Freya Eston. And when I say small, they literally only sell like a handful of leather products, this bag being one of them. So this is simply called the pochette leather bag. Now on Etsy, this was only available in 3 variations. So 2 in black with silver and gold hardware. And the 3rd variation was this one in chocolate brown with gold hardware. I'm gonna go ahead and take this felt off so you can really see it. There you go. So anyone surprised that I went for this colorway? I'm not. It was bound to happen. My obsession for a chocolate brown bag was strong, and I'm happy I was finally able to scratch that chocolate itch. Now, what really made me take a chance on such a small Etsy seller was the price. So this was listed for around $160 US, but I managed to stack some Etsy coupons together. However, the seller did have quite a high shipping fee, but it turned out they do like an international 48-hour express shipping deal. So yeah, I mean, shipping and tax inclusive, it was still a price I felt comfortable paying for a bag that I consider to be more on the experimental side. Now about the bag itself, this is 100% genuine leather, which is great. I do prefer real to vegan leather, but it doesn't say too much about the quality or the durability of the leather, so time will only tell. Now at first glance, I have no complaints, especially for the price. Like the look, the feel, the smell of it, It's all very nice. I don't have any Hermes Chev leather to compare this to, but in my head, that's what it has the look and feel of. Just based on my limited experience with Chev leather SLGs at the Hermes boutique. So it is on the softer side with a smaller grain. So bear in mind that the leather does have a delicateness to it, as in the leather will get indentation marks. At the same time, you can smooth those out with like a hairdryer, you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, mine came with a couple of small dents. I'm not sure if you can even see it on camera. And I can only guess that they're from how the bag was stored, maybe next to another bag with the lock pushing into the front like this one right here. But warming up the leather did help, and I wasn't too heavy-handed the first time, so I'll probably do a second pass later. So while that's a bit of a bummer, I will say the seller was more than helpful and gracious in resolving this issue. So my initial customer experience, 10 out of 10. I would just say be careful for how you store the bag. Now, in terms of its size, it's about just under 11 inches long, just under 2.5 inches wide at the bottom, and it's about just under 6 inches tall. And the removable but non-adjustable shoulder strap is about 16.5 inches. So size-wise, it's comparable to the Kelly Elan, except I think this is maybe a full inch wider, so it's actually roomier, which to me is always a plus. I still have all the protective stickers and casing over it, but let's just open her up so you can see. On the inside up here, we just have an embossed branding that says Freya Eston. Also, I can't tell what the inner lining is made of, but it is really soft. It kind of reminds me of Swift leather. Now, the inside is just one open compartment with a slit pocket in the back. Oh, and here's how the removable straps are attached with just a snap button closure on either side. So it's super easy to remove if you just want to wear this bag as a clutch. In terms of what fits, that is the most surprising. It fits so much for its size, which is normally the case when it comes to East-West bags, which is why I have really become a fan of them. Like, they look deceptively small, but they are so roomy. So this surprisingly handled all of my daily essentials and all of my extra bits and bobs, which includes a packable grocery bag, an umbrella, and 2 passports. Like, that is absolutely insane that all of that stuff fits so well in this tiny bag. And here I'll also just insert some mod shots so you can see how it looks worn over the shoulder on someone who is 5'3" and a dress size small. Let's do her up for a proper effect. And let's also get into why I bought this. Clearly, this is 100% a Kelly Elan dupe, but with no Hermes branding. So it's not supposed to be a replica, but you know, and I know that this is meant to deceive from a distance. Like, this is one of those bags that could land you in a, oh my gosh, is that a Kelly Elan type conversation with a stranger walking down the street? In which case you have to be like, yeah, no, it's from Etsy. There's no Hermes branding on it, see? And then awkward silence, and one of you walks away first. Like, I fully recognize that that is the energy that this bag gives off. Now, regardless, this was just one of those unassuming recommendations that popped up on Google when I was trying to find another actual Kelly Elan on the pre-loved market for around that $13K price point after the one on Fashion File got away. Like, it never crossed my mind to settle for a dupe until Google was like, honey, just give up and give in. And I only thought it over for about 2 days before I decided to pull the trigger. Plus, when you heart stuff on Etsy, they do typically start to send you discount codes after a day or so. So I just went for it. And by the way, can you find more affordable dupes on the internet? I'm sure you can, but I think for me, it was the chocolate brown that stole my heart. Like, if it was any other variation that was recommended on my Google, I wouldn't even have bothered clicking, but Google knew that this was what I wanted. So now I am not only able to test out the Kelly Elan style, I've also checked the box for the chocolate brown trend. Now, this next bag is my first 100% social media influenced buy. So this bag is from Verafied New York, and it is called the the dark cherry shoulder bag. And this just started popping up on my YouTube shorts and I was just immediately drawn to it. The leather is super shiny, so I know it's catching all sorts of light. For me, it was the color first that drew me to it, and then it's Kelly Elan dupeness. So this also took me a couple of days of salivating before I finally decided to bite the bullet, because I literally just bought the Etsy bag. But in my mind, they were different enough to justify getting both. Now, by the way, after I bought this, I never received any email updates until one day this was just sitting on my doorstep. So all in all, shipping was fast. I can't complain about that. It was just unexpected because I was just about to email them when I got home from work to ask, what's up? Y'all ever gonna ship my bag? And there she was, like, surprise. And by the way, this came wrapped in a really nice and thick dust bag, which you saw. But by wrapped up, I mean every inch of her was covered in tape and squishy packing paper. Like every strap, every belt, she was completely mummified. It was quite impressive. So obviously there's not a single dent or scratch or anything on her. And see that back pocket? Absolutely love it. This is also only available in very limited colors. I think this also comes in a black and a cream, but for me, it was red or bust. If it was any other variation that had popped up on YouTube, I don't think I would have even given it a second look. So now with both of these bags, my obsession with the chocolate burgundy fall color trends have been completely satiated. Now, I know not everyone was a fan of me calling these matronly, but I swear, when my husband saw these bags, his first comment was like, whoa, hot nanny alert, but in a good way. And I promise he does not watch my video, so he has no idea that I find these colors to be matronly, so it can't just be the both of us. But these are just totally the types of colors you would find on vintage leather bags, you know? So this bag currently retails for $248 US. And again, I did manage to snag like I think a 15% online discount code. And plus this had free US shipping, which was nice. And also for its price, I'm super happy that this is also made of real leather. So according to the website, this is made of Italian Napa leather. And it is a very smooth, thick, shiny leather, especially compared to the Etsy bag. Like there's no grain on this at all, hence you're picking up all of my lights. Like this screams Rouge Ash Pox leather, which is what most definitely drew me to it as well. Now, in terms of its size, this measures 10 inches long, just under 2.5 inches wide, and just under 6 inches tall. So very similar to the actual Kelly Elan dupe, except this is about an inch shorter lengthwise. So first impressions, I mean, this is a beautiful bag, but I can already tell you this is going to be fussier than the Etsy bag because of this belted detail. So as much as I love it, and this is what gives it its signature look, it does get in the way when it comes to opening and closing the bag because that magnetic button clasp sits directly behind the belt. So you have to slip the flap back in behind the belt. See what I mean? In order to secure the bag. Like there's no bypassing that. Now, once you do manage to get it open, this is what the inside looks like. I don't know what the actual material is for the inside of the bag, but at least the under flap seems to be made of the same Napa leather material. Now inside, you do have just one big compartment and again, one slip pocket in the back. And also here's how the strap mechanism works. So it's a little bit different. And by the way, I currently have this set to the longest strap length, and you do have quite a few different options, and so you can make this as short as a top handle bag, or if you wanted to, you can just easily remove it all together and wear this as a clutch as well. Now watch again how I have to close it. Ta-da! So there's my one big bugbear, if you will. Like with the Kelly Elan dupe, you could bypass the sangles and all you would have to worry about is shipping that little nub back into its hole. And you don't have to worry about the sangles at all. If you don't mind that the bag isn't fully done up, but that's how most people wear their Kellys anyway. So it's fine. The bag is still 100% secured. And in that case, like this is a super easy one-handed bag, but with the verified bag, you just got to take the time to slip the flap behind the belt. I mean, you could loosen the belt, maybe. You do have several hole adjustments, but then it changes the way it looks, you know? So at first, I thought maybe loosening this would give the bag more breathing room because of how the sangles seem to be threaded through. But that's not really how it works, especially with how thick this leather is and how sturdy the bag is on its own. So not to take too much attention away from this bag, but like the Teddy Blake Pia clutch that I have, I love that the magnetic closure isn't right behind the strap. So if I wanted to bypass it, I absolutely could. I mean, it changes the way the bag looks, but at least it's still functional that way. That's not the case here. So in other words, while this bag can be a one-handed bag, I think it is going to be a slow-going one-handed bag to use. In terms of what fits inside the verified shoulder bag, it fits just a teensy bit less since it is technically an inch shorter. I think I managed to get everything that I got into the Kelly bag into this bag except for my packable grocery bag, which is quite big, I admit that. But yes, this is still more than enough to handle my daily essentials and some extra bits and bobs. And again, I'll insert some mod shots on how this looks worn over the shoulder, which if I haven't said it yet, I'm all for the slightly longer shoulder bag trend. Like I love how they look when they're not too tight up under the arm, especially when it comes to the fall winter months, when you may be wearing like a chunky knit sweater or a coat. So let me also add in some mod shots of me wearing both bags at the same time, just so you can see the strap drop comparison and just how these sizes look on my frame. It's interesting that this looks bigger or wider, but it's really just how the leather pieces are sewn together. There you go. So all in all, I'm actually super impressed with these bags, especially for their price point. For now, at least. I don't know how well both will wear over time, and I really just need to give these a proper run, and I'll be sure to give you an update here in a bit, but these are just my initial thoughts from prancing around the house with them. Also, I have no experience with either brands in terms of follow-up customer service, etc. All I know is for the price I paid for these, they were perfect for scratching a current trending itch, if you will. And more than that, hopefully owning these bags will help me decide whether the actual Kelly Elan will be in my future. Let's say if I was able to find one at a price I'm comfortable paying on the pre-loved market, it would be nice to know ahead of time if I think they are worth it versus blindly buying one just because the price was right. Because these are still crazy expensive, right? And that's silly to spend that much money on a bag that you haven't even tried out. So under those circumstances, I can see how beneficial dupes can be before dropping thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on the real thing, especially for bags where you don't get to pop into a boutique to try on, which gets to my last bit. Let's discuss which I would recommend if I can only keep one and why. Which, by the way, I am going to keep both. These aren't going back. The one thing I wish that the Kelly dupe had was a back pocket, kind of like the one on the verified shoulder bag. But I get that with the back pocket, it would be even less of a Kelly Elan dupe. So I would say if your goal is really just to test out the Kelly Elan style, so you can determine if buying one is in your future, then I would definitely say go for something like this Etsy dupe. But let's say you have no intentions of getting the Kelly Elan in the future, but you just enjoy the style of the bag, then I think the verified shoulder bag makes a lot more sense because it's not going to be mistaken for the Kelly Elan, and you won't have to find yourself in those awkward conversations. And by the way, why are some dupes socially acceptable while others aren't? Like, I've seen so many YouTube videos that talk about Amazon designer dupes where the bags look near identical to the real thing. Sometimes they're even made of real leather. I feel like there's a bit of when it's an Amazon dupe, like there's a shame to them even if they're not fakes. Versus companies like Dress Up Your Purse, which is another brand that's been all over my feed, and their items are all heavily inspired. but they as a brand seem to have gained so much traction among the luxury YouTube community. It seems like their dupes are considered trendy and not tacky. So I'm curious to know your thoughts as to why that is. Like, what are they doing differently that's socially acceptable, at least among some luxury YouTubers, versus some of those other Amazon dupe companies? Like, let me know your thoughts down below. Oh, and then you also got brands like Coach and Prada that are out there duping everything and everyone. So I don't know. I guess this is all part of the new dupe economy. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Let me know if you have any experience with either of these bags. Please share below. Thank you again so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I hope to see you back in the future.